Hey guys, Ray the Video Guy here, and today I've got two very special guests. We've got Lee Cole and Mike Jones, who are going to talk about a great new product for all of you that are looking to get leads in your business. And the product is called Sociamigo. Now, did I say that right, guys? That's the big question.
You absolutely did say that right.
Perfect. Sociamigo. There we go. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about Sociamigo, and tell me a little bit about exactly what this software does and how it's going to help people in their business.
Shall I go ahead, Lee?
Yeah, absolutely,
Sure,
Mike. Yeah, why don't you let us know that?
Okay. Well, just to give you the background on it, Ray, the software was born from a pretty kind of old school, I guess, sort of manual approach to using social networks, and two of the oldest in LinkedIn and Twitter, to go out and generate leads. And it's actually it's a good friend of mine who you won't know him in the States, but he's quite popular. He's quite well known in the UK for being the man that can get past the gatekeeper. And it was kind of his big party piece was he got his business, which by the way is now sold for about 10 million sterling, so I don't know, 15 million US or something like that.
Wow.
His kind of party piece was his ability to get appointments with some of the biggest, most boldest places in the country. So he's had appointments at Buckingham Palace, not with the Queen, but with somebody who was relevant to his business there. He's been to Rolls-Royce. He was doing business with some of the biggest companies, and from everybody from the ground up, from a very small business as well. He just had this knack to be able to get leads, and good ones, and appointments, and sales, and all the rest of it. And we were chatting, and he shared with me a while back, and often when him and I chat, because obviously I'm kind of quite on the cutting edge of all the marketing and the software stuff, and he's like this old school sales and marketing guy, and he told me about this approach whereby he was using LinkedIn to search for people that were relevant to his business, and he would he'd connect with them and try and generate a relationship there, and that would kind of lead on to getting a lead from them. He'd also connect with them on other social networks, and the real killer thing, and in the end we ended up calling it the triple whammy. What he would do is he'd go and actually visit the website of the person. He'd look on their profile, go and have a look at their website, really do his homework on them, and he'd drop them an email via their website and say, hey, we should have a coffee and we should have a chat because I think we can do some business. And his conversion rate was just phenomenal. And I thought, well, that's just pretty cool. So we started using that kind of formula. So just to sort of run through that, perhaps if I share my screen for a few moments and just kind of demonstrate how that whole thing comes about. Let me just, if I can remember to...
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to see that.
Let's have a look. I think I need to share that one. Let's have a go. Apologies if this shares something I shouldn't share. I think we're all good. I'll just drag that out of the way. So you should be seeing my LinkedIn profile. I don't know if that's starting to...
We're actually seeing a picture of me on your screen, I think.
Okay. Why? It's maybe locked, has it, to... Let's try again with the old screen share. It looks like it might have locked to Chrome. Okay, let's... modern technology, yeah.
So this technology, it always kicks us in the butt, There we go, LinkedIn. There it is.
There we go. That's it.
Okay. Well, just before I sort of walk through the actual process, I'll just share this because, obviously, as I developed Sociamigo, I did a lot of testing. I used my account, and actually, Lee and I were chatting prior to doing this earlier, and I hadn't checked on this for a while, but I've been kind of. I'm a bit of a geek with status and numbers and stuff, especially when it comes to social media. And for ages, I've been wanting to get in the top 100 profile views in my network on LinkedIn. Now I've got just short of 4,000 connections, and as you can see, the number one in my network is Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street guy. So there's some pretty popular people in there. So to get in the top 100 has been like, I've been really wanting to do that. And actually, I checked earlier, and I've just I'm at number 92, so I'm well within the top 100, which puts me in the top 3%. Which, I mean, that is it's crazy when you think about it starting to come through. But you'll see, I've started developing the software and using it on this account sort of mid-October. And as you can see, I mean, that is just, you know, I can think of a lot of businesses, websites that don't get that many views, let alone a little old LinkedIn profile. So, yeah, I mean, well, you've only got to look up at the top. There's like 300 odd messages and people wanting to get in with me. It's pretty damn effective. So, anyway, just to get back to that triple whammy strategy. I mean, effectively, what we do is we'd come into LinkedIn, we'd go along and click on the advanced search thing, which is really cool for anybody that hasn't played around with the advanced search. I mean, you can really drill down and start to look for all kinds of people. And you know, we put a keyword in there. So let's go with social media expert. So you know, you could do a search on that. That'll pop up, and boom, we've got a lot of people there. So that's really cool. And you can start to look through that. I mean, you can profile it by all sorts. You can drill down into locations, which again, anybody that's doing sort of local marketing or anything like that, it's very useful. LinkedIn's a useful tool for lead generation. You know, it's plain and simple. So you know, we'd come into here, we'd find somebody that, you know, hey, they look like somebody I want to connect with. Go ahead and click on connect. Actually, it's rare it does that these days. Usually it would. I'm just going to try and get it to do it, actually. Typically, it's not. Very often what it'll do is it'll go off to yet another screen. You've got to put some more details in, and then it'll send the connection request. But anyway, it's not on this one, which is quite cool. So that's that done. You then go on to the profile, and this is where you can start to. Let's hope that Scott Jones, no relative, that's just pure coincidence. Let's have a look down here. Yeah, there we go. So straight away, there's a couple of things here. So if I really wanted to connect with Scott and get a meeting with him about whatever, I could then, you know, I'll go and look him up on Twitter. So I'm going to open that up in another tab. That's really taken out. There he is. Okay. Okay, I don't need to for the benefit of this. I'd click on follow, assuming I was signed into him. What I'd probably do as well, and part of that whole process would be, in fact, I'll just get that going. Obviously, I mean, one of the key things to do in this process is the collection of the data as well, because you know it's such an old cliche, but we all know the benefit of building up lists and how powerful that can be on an ongoing basis. So what I'd also start doing, I'm just going to bring in a spreadsheet here. I'd start to register some of this data as well. So there's his Twitter thing, and there I'd put the guy's details in here. Yeah, that's cool. I'd put the connection request in. I then go back to LinkedIn. I find the guy's website. When that loads up. Okay, he's got an old website on there. That wouldn't do. That's not getting any much traffic, is it? I should let him know. Scott, if you're out there, update your profile. Okay, so that's not working too well. He's not got a very up-to-date profile. Let's assume he'd done that. What we'd usually do, not to get too bogged down with that, what I'd usually do is rather than just go to the home page and check that out, I'd probably go and have a look on the contact page. And you know, actually look, because very often you'll find there's email addresses, there's telephone numbers, there's postal addresses, there's all kinds of data that you can get from those pages. If you're there, you might as well pick it up, and that's it. And you know, I'd send the guy a connection request, and again, going back to the connection. I've got the screen up now, so that's pretty cool. What you do is you put whatever. And if you could actually personalize that message, the amount of people that connect back with you, and actually if you did it quite, strategically, it's even an opportunity to warm it up as a lead and kind of not necessarily, you won't want to go in there and just straight sell to them, but you may well think, you might want to just warm them up a little bit to the fact that you might be able to do some business together and kind of tee that up a little bit. So that's the process. The thing is, it's time consuming, and I've yet to meet a business owner that doesn't value the time isn't precious for. Everybody's got a market. All business owners have got a market. The problem is time. And as effective as that strategy is, great if you want to get into Buckingham Palace and go sell them something. To do that on a daily basis, it's going to be hard work. It's going to take time out of your day when you could be doing other things. It's something that you need to do, and really that's where Sociamigo was kind of born. So what we wanted to do was effectively automate that entire process from start to finish and make it possible to literally fire up a bit of software, click a few buttons, leave it to do its thing, get all the benefit of it, and you go and do some business whilst that's happening. So that was the goal, and I think I'm fairly confident in saying that's exactly what we've been able to come up with and what we've delivered. So perhaps now would be a good time, Lee, for you to show everyone.
Let me share my screen here, and
hopefully you'll have more luck than I did.
Sociamigo going. What about it, guys? Can we see that?
I see it.
I see it.
Yeah, there we go. Well, hang on a minute. I got this new computer, Ray, which is a Windows computer. Ray was busting my chops about Windows yesterday. That's okay. I really don't think I'm capable of a Mac,
Well, it was more because of the frustrations I was having last night than the platform itself, I think.
So log in. I mean, if y'all want to, if anybody looking at this wants to email me there, that's cool. I don't read that. I don't check those emails anyway.
Send a connection request.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I think those are my passwords. Yeah, so basically, where we've got this worked out so that it has three possibilities. Okay, so it could scrape only, and in other words, you can just go out and get all that information that Mike was talking about and put it on a big old spreadsheet for you. That in and of itself is totally cool and extremely useful for these little marketing business, or really for any kind of business, any kind of sales business, selling insurance, real estate, whatever. It can just focus on LinkedIn. In other words, you can just do the LinkedIn part of this. Like I think you use Social Media Expert. We will pop that in here in a minute. Or it can do the triple whammy, which is connect and follow and print out the spreadsheet, and then you can follow up with direct mail, email, phone call, whatever. We're going to put a message in here. So let's say I'm going to do connect and follow. We can do this up to 100 per run. Now, if you're connecting, if you're either just, this is just best practices. And by the way, we know this because we've broken it, okay, with LinkedIn. If you're going to connect or connect and follow, I would keep it for 50 or less. Just for today's demonstration, I'm going to put it at 5, because also I've been doing a ton of stuff over on LinkedIn today. So you could say, hi, noticed we, well, actually it comes with a hi. Noticed we related businesses wanted if Eric, hi, how you doing? Hi, get to know you thing. I liken this to like a virtual chamber of commerce. I mean, you're not going to walk
Sure.
into chamber meeting or a meetup meeting or a BNI meeting and say, you know, hi, I'm Lee, I sell yada yada yada. That's going to look stupid. You know, you just say, hi, how you doing? You know, and then you move the conversation on from there. Everybody knows why you're there. You're there to exchange leads. Notice from a related business, just want to reach out and connect. If I can introduce any of my network, feel free, because I got my networks at about 3,200 first-tier connections.
Nice.
And I am also in the top 3%. So I'm like in the top 78. So, you know, I'm about where Mike is. So let's say location, you can put a location as, I generally tend to do this by location myself. So I live in Atlanta, so let's put Atlanta there. If you want to put multiple locations, we can do that here. Industry, so the industry would be tantamount to where the keyword went in the advanced search thing that Mike showed y'all. So social, let's say social media Now, this is really interesting right here, max connections. This is talking about the maximum number of connections for the target, for the potential people that you're going to connect with, because you can use Sociamigo in a lot of different ways. Let's say that you were actually selling LinkedIn services, or you actually selling social media services. Well, you might want to target people who are failing at LinkedIn, right?
There you go.
Yeah, so those would be the people. I mean, to my mind, that's defined as 500 or or less. But you might want to put this at 100 or less, or 250 or less, and that way you've got the people who really aren't capable of doing much with LinkedIn. Because if you don't have over 500, you're a nothing. I generally put any, because I'm for my purposes, I'm interested in anyone, so we'll put any there, and we will just say. Now you're going to see this little status here. Because this is a new computer, I can't lift this up enough for you to see the status really well. Apologize for that. But right now it says waiting. So we're going to start that. Now it says logging in. So it's actually just trundling out into the internet, acting like a real human being. Darn it.
And just for the record, so that I don't feel like one of those losers, I do have over 500. So I just
I knew you did.
I had no idea, so I had to actually go and look. But
Did
it
you
says
have to
500,
well,
500 plus. And boy, does it need to be updated.
Login successful. I apparently can't type. So that was the reason I didn't type my password there. So now it says searching profiles. So it is actually going through that same process that Mike went through. It's doing that itself. And right now it's searched 15% of profiles, 22% of profiles. So it's just going out, doing its thing, connecting all this, collecting all this stuff. To run this for 50, which is generally what I do per day, I mean, it runs in real time. You're looking at probably 15 or 20 minutes. But the thing is, to set it up takes all of, what, a minute or two to just fill in this stuff. You hit start, then you just minimize it, and you go about doing whatever you're doing. And it's doing all the connecting. It's going out, doing the following, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's doing everything that Mike talked about. And it's currently scraping right now. Shouldn't take that long since we're just doing 5.
Yeah, I think that the thing that, I mean, even on a good day, it would take me kind of 10 minutes, 15 minutes to get through sort of 5 or 10, good ones. So to do 50.
Oh, I would have to, yeah. It would take me 15 minutes to get through 5 just manually. But see, okay, here's my first one. That Tamara Simmons, Atlanta, Georgia, marketing and advertising, 500 connections, that's URL. Now that URL, when you go to LinkedIn and you're looking at someone's profile below their picture, you can get, there's a little pull down there, and that's where people put stuff like their Twitter URL, their phone number, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you can find all of that. That's where it's getting all this stuff. But see, it's putting it all right here for you, which I think is just remarkable. I love this thing. Here's this person's Twitter handle. There's their Twitter handle. That's their Twitter handle. I've got an email for that person. I know how many connections they have. Um, and this is just so incredibly cool. I mean, I just run this once a day, and it builds up my connections. And you know, Ray, what is really cool is as your connections build up, then people, you know, and you get your profile straightened out. People go to your profile, they say, yeah, I understand who he is, what he's about. And then you get people connecting back to you. And the bigger your profile gets, you know, I mean, excuse me, the bigger your first tier connections get, you start doing a little other stuff that we do, attraction marketing, popping in memes and stuff like that into stuff that's going to get eyeballs on it. This whole thing snowballs. And you get people reaching out to you. I mean, we had a guy who's a corporate trainer reach out to us through using this a few weeks ago and said, hey, that's really cool. By the way, I do this stuff for a living. I would like to sell this to all the people that I'm training. You know, the potentially a multi-$1,000 deal there. So, you know, this works. When it's done, it says all done, amigo, and we are done. We can save the report, put it on the desktop, save it for future reference, you know, to look at it, get the information out of it. This thing works like a scalded dog.
It took some effort making it, I might add. It wasn't just like a 10-minute.
No, this is a very sophisticated piece of software.
I'm just getting flashbacks of the development process. It's a while since I just sat and watched it actually working. It's like
it's a thing of beauty. It is a thing of marketing and programming beauty. But I mean, isn't that cool? I mean, that thing can go out there and get all that information. It's connected with those people. It's going to build up my connections in LinkedIn, which for me, I use LinkedIn would be my personal major, my #1 social media outlet. So for me, that's huge. Finding people on Twitter, you know, I put stuff on my blog, I tweet it. These people are there. They're followed. They'll follow me back. They find out about it. It works.
An interesting side effect, I don't know if I mentioned this to you as well, but just to kind of throw that out there, because I noticed it just purely by accident, but LinkedIn's actually got a mechanism whereby when you're in there looking at your profile, it says who's viewed your profile, and it puts a little picture up there of who, you know, who's been looking at you. And actually, I've been using Sociamigo quite heavily in scrape-only mode. Because I wanted an email list. I was pulling out all the email addresses, so I just fed it a huge locations list, and just kind of left it running overnight, and it just went off. And you know, the thing is, LinkedIn's, unless you've got one of those $50 a month premium account things, you're only limited to 100 searches, normally speaking, for any, you know, it'll only show you the first 100 results. Whereas, I mean, obviously, because you're using a tool that's going back in there, you're getting thousands of results out, because you know, if you feed it enough locations, it'll just keep searching through them. And actually, because it behaves in the background as a human would, it was going and visiting their profiles in order to scrape the data out. And the side effect was that it was logging on their who's viewed your profile thing to say Mike Jones has gone and viewed your profile. Right. Because they've been coming back and viewing mine, and they wanted to connect with me.
Now that is an excellent side effect there, because but before you said that, I had never really thought about that either. I think that is really cool. That would be a great way to just force getting more eyeballs onto your profile, because, you know, people will.
If you were looking for work, it would be a dead easy way to get lots of people who potentially would want to give you work to come and have a look.
If you were looking for a job, oh man, that would be killer. Yeah, absolutely. You could target the people that the types of businesses and or locations or people that would hire you, and then just let this thing go out there and basically ping them, and they come back and look at your profile and say, hey, that's somebody I might like to hire. Yeah, absolutely. This thing is amazingly useful.
It's
No. What are some of the? It looks like a very powerful piece of software. Are there any limitations, or limitations isn't the right word, but any things we should be aware of? Now I can see clearly on that form there somebody's email, the very first person up there. Um, what is LinkedIn's policies regarding any of that? Is there an issue with getting people's emails in that way?
Well, I mean, actually, that email address hasn't been pulled off of LinkedIn. It's been pulled off that person's website. So they've displayed that web address as publicly on their own website as a means of contacting them. Now, I know the canned spam laws are slightly different in the US. I think it's probably one of the few things we're more relaxed on in the UK. We can get away with a whole lot more, but I mean, in essence, the same sort of rules apply in as much as if you're going to contact them with a kind of unsolicited mail, you've got to be open about it. You've got to tell them where you found their email address. You've got to, if they ask to be unsubscribed, you've got to remove them quickly and give them the means to do that easily. All that kind of stuff. That's just part of that's being polite. If you're going to contact somebody to promote something to them and they don't want to hear from you, well, Christ, don't keep doing it. It's wasting everybody's time. It's negative.
Sociamigo,
there's no law.
It's not meant to be like the front end of a spamming tool or anything like that.
No.
You'll notice we limited it to where you could have 100 contacts per day. The reason it's limited is because Mike and I have both pushed the envelope to where LinkedIn, sort of spanked us and said, well, you don't need to be contacting that many people. I mean, I was doing that manually myself. This will be back in the spring.
Yeah, I've actually done that when I've gone on, my kicks of, oh yes, I should probably be doing more LinkedIn, and then I go in and do 800 things in a day and get in trouble for doing it.
Right. Yeah. You're like the guy that works out one weekend for the month. So,
yeah. Exactly. Yes. Right. That's true for working out as well.
So it's not meant to be like a spamming thing. It is meant to do the grunt work of gathering the information, because really where it happens on LinkedIn and in real sales is talking to a human being, right? I mean, the goal is to talk to somebody about something. So let's say you have a little web design company. You want more clients. Well, I mean, you're not going to get more clients by sending out 10,000 unsolicited emails and having some idiot just click a bunch of stuff and order something. That's not going to work. But you are going to get a bunch of clients if you have data and use it intelligently. In other words, you contact them through LinkedIn, you follow them on Twitter, you send them a nice little letter in direct mail, just real live, honest to God mail, go figure. You send them an email as a follow-up, you call them up a couple of weeks later. If you did that, you would have more business than you would know what to do with in about a 1 or 2 month period. That's what this is meant for.
I'm sitting here thinking about that and thinking, gosh, you could, use the addresses and send out cards. You could do all sorts of fun stuff with that to really get their attention. But the one thing I wanted to go back to on that, which was brought up, which I hadn't even thought about earlier, but what you mentioned is that the information that you're getting, a lot of that is coming from their website, not from their LinkedIn profile. Is that correct?
That's correct. In fact, it's not. It follows it. The software it spiders to their website, and then it's not 100% because people call their contact pages different things, and there's only so much you can do with an algorithm. But it fairly intelligently tries to spider their website and look for an actual contact page, because usually people will drop a whole lot more contact information on there. So it makes sense to try and drill down if it can. And pull that extra information, which just gets better results ultimately. So yeah, and to do that manually, it's a lot of clicking. You're working out your clicking finger.
I would not want to do 50 a day manually. That's for sure.
No. Well, you wouldn't do any of the work, would you? That's the problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. And one of the questions that I get from people all the time is, well, gee, how do you find people to contact? And so a software like this is probably right up the alley of a lot of people who struggle with finding the person that they need to contact. So this is a great way to be able to do that. And anybody who's used LinkedIn even a little bit knows that you can contact some pretty high-level people directly through LinkedIn sometimes. So that's fantastic stuff.
Very high-level
Combine that
people.
Yeah, I mean, when you combine that with Twitter, it never fails to amaze me how open people are on Twitter in particular. I mean, the LinkedIn thing, they might try and ignore that, but Twitter, that's just like, hey, come and, I ain't got a PA in between, just come and chat to me and I'll chat back. They're like real pleased that somebody's talking to them on Twitter. Wicked.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ray, we have, I mean, we have a group of coaching students who use Sociamigo, and one of them is actually using Sociamigo to sell this same service to the clients, which I think is really brilliant. So basically, this is what he does. He uses Sociamigo to target businesses and build his client base. The Twitter, the email, the whole 9 yards, does that, gets in touch with them, and he's selling them on doing that. And I think that is just brilliant. And he was in our Facebook group, and he says, "Yeah, I'm doing it. It's working out great. Got 2 new clients at $700 a month." And he said, "What is so cool is this takes maybe minutes." He said, "Sociamigo does all the work." So all he's done is sold them, a package, and all he's got to do, he has a VA that does it, but if you're just starting out, I mean, you could have 10 or 20 clients and easily use this software and have plenty of time to do your prospecting, do your selling, do your fulfillment. It's a whole business. That's not the only thing you can do with it, but that is a very targeted thing that people are doing with it. We got other people who are actually landing for the first time in their entire internet lives, landing big clients using this stuff. It's a very, very potent place to find the right people, LinkedIn.
As a developer, it's quite rewarding to see those success stories when you've kind of tried to can something so powerful, and when you see people actually getting real results with it, it's like, wow, we've done a good thing. I can sleep.
That's what it's all about, is to help people to do bigger and better things, and I love the fact that this does that. And of course, it actually inspires me, because I am the worst LinkedIn user, that you probably know, sadly.
Even though as bad as I was back in the early spring, but I was pretty bad. But then I got straightened out.
They did reward me for being one of the few people that has my profile completely filled in. But that's about the extent of it.
Yeah. Well, now that you've got that, you can run Sociamigo and just have it build out your client base while you're out playing golf or something.
That's right. That's right. I don't play golf, but I do need to take it up.
Or whatever you do, Ray. you can do more of it.
Excellent. I usually sit here and do things like this, like we're doing right now. So there we go.
That's what I do too. It's sad.
More hangouts.
But I mean, it's nice that work is so much fun, isn't it?
It is, and I tell people that all the time, and it certainly beats banging in nails into the railway, I suppose. So it builds a lifestyle that you can really enjoy, and so. Anything that can make my life easier and do more of the fun stuff, I am certainly all for. So I'm really excited to see this product get out there, and I hope that everybody understands the power of this. To be able to contact all the different people in your area in a certain field and get all their information so that you can really reach out to them. I mean, that's huge. That is probably the biggest, besides cold calling, that is probably the biggest stumbling block, is actually getting the information to do any of that. So I'm really excited about this, and I think it'll kind of get me to do more of the local type stuff that I've been, I've kind of been getting out of a little bit, but would like to start doing more with clients, and this can definitely help me do that. So I'm excited for it, and I thank you guys for putting it together.
Very cool. Thank you so much for talking to us about it.
Yeah.
Oh, not a problem. And when is this available for everybody to be able to pick up?
It's going to be available Friday.
Friday. Nice. All right, well, we'll get this out to everybody, and hopefully if you need something where you can actually contact people and get information so that you can start to build an even bigger local business or whatever it is that you happen to do, then look for this on Friday. You should be able to pick it up then, and it should be able to help you grow your business very quickly. So Mike Lee, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this, especially Mike, because I know it's getting late out there. So
I'm off straight to bed after. Cold winter's evening here in the north of England, so I might call it a night. Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to do that, because I think this is a software that can really benefit a lot of people. So I'm excited to tell people about it and help them to grow their businesses.
For sure.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And again, if you are interested in this, if you're watching this, it'll probably be on a little landing page, and there'll be a button below this that will go to a page that'll show you a little more information about it, and it'll show you the bonuses that we've put together to help make your business grow even faster. So be sure to click the button below this video and check out Sociamigo this Friday, ready to go and ready to grow. So there you go.